Hello again, we're back with the same program as before. This program, and we're going to go on to decrease stock. Now we're going to make hard drive changes to the database. When products are sold, their stock needs to be decreased. Write code to decrease the stock by 1. So it's -1. We're going to subtract 1 from every single row of the table. And that's the important thing to know, that it's every single row. So we're going to go through every single row of the table, and we know how to do that. We first go to the first one and so on. So now we're not displaying anything because it's actually going to be done. The database grid will display the new values automatically. TBL products dot next. I'm sure you must be used to this skeleton code now, hey? So all we're going to do is the following. We say inside our loop, we say TBL products dot edit, and then we say TBL products square brackets stock equals the previous TBL products square brackets stock -1, and then we say TBL products dot post. And it's so easy. If you can't get this right in an exam or test question, you're going to feel very sorry for yourself. So memorize it. First of all, going through every single row of the table. Dot first, while not end of file, dot next. First row we go dot edit, put it in edit mode. That means we're going to only change one little cell of a record. The stock field, in other words, is going to be changed for that row. And we say the new stock value is going to be equal to the old stock value -1, and you refer to TBL products and dot post. Now we'll go run the program and see, but you must have dot post. If you don't do dot post, it's not going to work. So dot edit, do the change, and then dot post. And that's it, folks. So let's go and click that button and see if it works. Let's go look at our products first. See in stock, that first one, Jelly Babies Smarties, is 55. So I click on decrease stock. Then Smarties must be 54. Let's go scroll up to Smarties. There it is. Because I bought one of them, probably. Right, next one. Add a supplier. Now we're going to add a row to the table. This is also hard drive changes. And this is actually, you don't use a loop to do this. When you want to add a row, you just do this. You say, okay, we've got to use the with statement. You don't put the database in into the first row. You don't do that. You don't do anything. You just go use your data module. Oops. As normal. But you just say, and you don't use a loop. You just say TBL products dot insert, and then you do all your things, and then you say TBL products dot post. Now what happens in between dot insert and dot post? Well, that is where you're going to refer to every single column that you want to add. Square brackets. What field are we going to use? What are we going to add? It says here, generate a sub ID by combining the letter S with the next available number in the table. Well, we've got to use record count plus 1. So, okay, they're telling us we've got to use record count plus 1. Fine, there is a function called record count plus 1. So, fine, we'll do that. A sub ID, we want the sub ID has to be added. Supplier ID, we're going to say that's equal to something. I'm just going to get all the fields and then we'll put them together. Sub name and the cell number must be from input boxes, The account balance must be set to naught, sub name and cell number. So TBL products, sub name. Sorry, I'm just trying to copy and paste because I'm super lazy. Not helping. This is not working. Is it? No, no. Right, come on. We want the sub name. Oh, are we adding a supplier, not a products? Okay, we're adding a supplier to TBL suppliers. Right. Better go and change that to TBL suppliers. Suppliers. It's better, hey? The sync edit mode, you highlight all of that and then you click on this button over here, and then you can go and change variable names. It will change it wherever the old variable name is. So the column heading for sub name, cell num, cell no, sub name and cell no. Obviously we're going to get input boxes for that. And then we're going to have a field called ACC Bell, TBL suppliers, ACC Bell. Equals, and there, Bell, sorry, Bell equals naught. Why am I saying naught? I think because they said that we must say set the account balance field to naught, write the record and display a confirmation message. So we've got to get the we've got to go and get our record count function to get our sub ID. So we've got 3 strings to worry about: S ID, S name, and S cell. So let's get our SID. SID equals a thing, a capital S plus int to string TBL. We're going to do with DM shop over here. Why? Because I'm going to access the record count function. TBL suppliers dot record count. That will give us the number of records in the table, and we're going to add 1 to it, and then that's found there. Okay, because we're accessing TBL suppliers, we have to put it inside our with statement, but the others, S name can be an input box, enter a supplier name, and then the other input box could be enter the cell number, enter supplier cell number, and then is cell, and then SID will be this one, sub name will be S name, cell number will be S cell, and there you have it. Don't forget about the semicolons after each line, and don't forget about, you do insert and then you do post, and that is your, it makes hard drive changes, and you don't display anything because it's automatically displayed in the database grid. Let's see what my errors are. Oops, I forgot about this. The bracket goes after the 1. There we go. Now the supplier oh, you see that supplier RS? It's not going to work because I've got supplier RS, not supplier RD. Sub ID, and I didn't check my spelling. Sub ID, sub no, cell NO, and account balance. Okay, let's do this. do it. Right, add supplier. Okay, window. Oh gosh, there's my cell number. Now let's go and see in our supplier ID. There it is, account balance naught, and everything's good. Right, next one. Delete a selected product record after displaying confirm. Oh, we forgot about a confirmation message after this one. Hey, no, show message. Supplier added. Now we're going to delete a record. Now we're going to delete a product or a supplier. We're deleting a product, so we're going to ask the user to type in a product name. We're not going to select a product on the database grid, because in exams you have to actually find something using a loop. So we're going to ask the user to enter a product name, and then we'll delete that product from the database. And of course that's going to be a string. Now we are going to go through the table one at a time to find the product that we need to delete. So we need our structure, TBL products dot next. Now, okay, before we go on, we must actually ask the user to enter product name using the input box. Enter product to delete. And we're going to say if TBL products inside the loop, we say if TBL products square brackets descript equals sprod, then we will say TBL products dot delete. Now this is the tricky one. Because we're only deleting one and not a whole lot, we're then going to use an else after this delete happens. Else we'll go to the next row. And I have just made it so that my insert, TBL insert key, else we'll go to the next row. Now this is the tricky part. If you're only deleting one thing, and we are only going to delete one product, we use delete and then else. Otherwise we'll have a problem. Actually no, I'm telling lies. Forget it. We will delete and stop the loop with a Boolean flag. You'll find an instance where we are going to use delete and then else. When we're deleting more than one thing, we'll use else. Sorry, my bad. Over here, we are going to use a Boolean flag so that we can stop the loop as soon as we find the one that, and we've deleted it. And you know how to use a Boolean flag because we've done it before. So of course, when we get to finding something for deleting, we need to use begin and end, because we're going to do two things when we find it. We will delete and we'll set be found equal to true. And then of course a message. Now if we want to delete more than one thing, we'll use the dot delete and then else go to the next one. Sorry, my bad. So now we're going to ask the question, if be found equals true, then we'll say show message sprod was deleted, else we'll show a message that it was not found. Oh, edit undo. And you know why I'm doing that? Because I'm pressing another button instead. was not found. So if b found is true, that means we have deleted, we had begin and end, we found it, we did dot delete, and then we said b found is true. Sorry, I was wrong about the other thing where I said delete and else. No, we don't use the else here because we're only deleting one thing. And we want to stop the loop as soon as we've deleted something, and that will do it, like we normally stop a loop when we find something. And that's what we've done. And then if b found is true, after everything has happened, if b found is true, then we know it was deleted, else it wasn't found. Right, so I suppose you want to see if it works there. Good idea, because I forgot to put my semicolon on. And another TBL products, TBL products, not TBL products, delete. Delete product. Let's find one. What shall we delete? Not sour worms. I don't like sour worms. I'm going to delete sour worms. Click OK. And sour worms was deleted. Yay. And if you try and delete something, if you can't find any old thing, and then it will say it was not found. And of course I forgot about spaces. Space, you know, space, space. Right, moving on. Maybe, yeah, search for product. Okay, we've got 4 more to do. Search for product. Write code to prompt user to input a product name, loop through TBL products. When the product is found, display the stock. Okay, well, this is so basic, eh? Right, well, I'm going to copy and paste here because I can, and I want to. So we're just displaying the amount of stock for a product. So this is a basic one. Right, sprod. VAR prod colon string. Yes, I can use the same variable again because the variables are local. They get deleted when the procedure ends, so I can use the same name again. It's fine. Select product, enter product, and then if it is prod, then all we're going to do is say b found equals true. End of story, and the loop will stop. But we are going to display the product stock. Where are we going to display it? In where? Already out? So maybe already out dot lines dot add TBL products square brackets stock. But guess what? Stock is it an integer or is it a real? Well, I'm guessing it's an integer, so I'm going to say int to string open brackets. This is where you have to be very careful about your brackets. And stock, let's have a look if you really want to know the stock. It is an integer. It looks like an integer to me, so good enough for me and Bobby McGee. Right, what else? Oh, display a message if the product is not found. If b found equals false, then okay, so if b found is false, then we will do that. So as you can see, it's the same structure. Set our found to false, go to the first row, while not in the file and b found equals false, do that. If TBL product descript equals sprod, which we got from our input box over there, then we will display the stock and set b found to true. And then we'll go to the next row over here. Now take note of this begin and end, which is 2 things if we find a match. Right. I suppose I must run it, I suppose. Forgot to set b found as a variable. There it is. Done and done. So let's see how much stock we have of Smarties. Smarties. We have 54. And if you're looking for any other random stock, it doesn't exist. We'll have a message, was not found. Easy peasy. Now we're on 2.9. And now calculate selling price for all products that has the selling price has been initialized to 0. We're going to do an edit for everything. Actual selling price is calculated like that. So we're going to use our supply price plus 1 plus markup divided by 100. Calculate and permanently store. So there's hard drive changes happening here. It's actually .edit and .post for every single row of the table. Yes, we're going to go through every single row of the table. It's always good to know that we are going through every single row of the table. I'm just trying to get, here's my edit and post. Goodie, my goodie. So we can use this code, calculate selling price. Right. Edit. So this is going to be the selling price. What's the selling price called? We need to look at the sell price, sub price, and markup. Right, so we're going to use sell price over here. It's a sub price. We're doing a calculation. Okay. I don't know whether you can see all of that, so I'm going to put it on a new line. Sub price times by, I've got to use a star here, and then a bracket, and then a 1 plus, and then the bracket TBL products. Take note, you have to refer to the field sub. Oops. Oh no, markup. Mark up and close the square brackets. So that's the markup, and divide that by 100, and then close the brackets. So you have to worry about BODMAS and everything. So let's move it over so you can see a bit better. I don't even know if you can see that. Can you still see? There it is. The sell price equals the sub price times by, and then open brackets 1 plus TBL products markup divided by 100. Okay, markup is called that. Markup with a small u. Sometimes it's case sensitive. Now, as you can see, you're going through every row. First row, we go to the first row, then while not, end of file, then we have edit, and then you do your calculation, and then you have .post, and then you have .next. Edit, do the stuff, post, and next. Memorize that. It is the only way to do it, is to memorize this. And of course I have a problem. Oh yes, semicolon over there. And another. Okay. Oh, I don't want a semicolon there. How stupid. What? I suppose they don't like me putting it on 2 lines like this, eh? Guess not. Oh, I'm supposed to say equal, but I am doing equals. Sell price equals sub price times 1. There's a bracket missing. There. Yeah. It's a bracket missing at the end. See? Now let's see if that works. Yep. Calculate selling price. There we go. Cool. It's actually a markup percentage, isn't it? And of course, you know, We don't worry about what it looks like there. Everything else is fine. Now, write code to display the setting suppliers details of a particular product. When the user clicks on a product, calculate, extract the, oh yes, we're going to do, we're going to look for things. We're going to use the two fields now. We have the two tables, the two tables. See, we have two tables here. And we're going to the supplier's detail of a particular product. So they're going to choose a product and find the supplier for that product. It's the same thing, but we're going to find the supplier name using an input box. So we did it in the previous activity. So we will do that. So this is in 10.1. I actually don't like that. I'd rather actually put a button up there. We're going to put buttons here, guys. Seriously. I don't actually want to use the on cell click because you don't get that typically in an exam. I've never seen it for a long while that we have an on cell click event. So let's just use the way that you would normally do. So I'll use this button over here. And I'm going to ask for a product name using an input box. It's prod. And yes, I will use an input box component. So I'm going to copy and paste. Excuse me, people. Seriously, I do not like to waste too much time, especially when making videos. So we're going to go through the product table and we're going to find the description, and when we do, we're going to store the foreign key because the product is on the many side of a relationship and we're looking for sup ID. Now sup ID is what kind of data type? It's actually a string. No, wait, is it? Where is it? Sup ID. Yes, it's a string. Can you see there's sup ID? It's a string. And it is the same field will exist in TBL suppliers. And we want to get the supplier name for a particular product. So we're then going to S product, and then we're going to have a string called sup S sup S sup. You'll say S sup will be equal to TBL products square brackets sup ID, and we will stop the loop when we find the description, because then we will then have S sup. We're going to use S sup in another table, going through another table, the other one called TBL suppliers dot first, and then while not TBL, yes, I'm typing it all, dot end of file do, begin and end, and TBL suppliers dot next. And now we're going to say if TBL suppliers square brackets sup ID, if that equals S sup, then we're going to do the same as before. We'll set a Boolean flag to true, because why? Because it's the right thing to do. And we will also do something about the supplier name. They say display the supplier's name and mobile number. Each project only has one supplier. Yeah. Already out dot lines dot add TBL suppliers square brackets, I think it's sup name, and then we'll do the contact number. So we've got to display two things. Oh. No. Sorry, I'm undoing all the time because I'm making mistakes here. So we got the supplier name, and what else must we display? The mobile number. We've got to make sure we spell the correct sub name and cell NO. Cell NO. Oh, I seem to be doing this a lot. Right, so there's that. And so let's check our code out again quickly. So we got Boolean flag with dbm shop db TBL products at first. Go through the products table, which is this one here, looking for a descript that matches the sprod from the input box. So while not, we end of the products, and while bfound equals false, we are going to say if the descript equals sprod, we will then go and put the sub ID into a variable called ssub and set bfound to true so the loop can stop. Then we go to the suppliers table, suppliers.first. While we're not at the end, we're going to say if the sub ID equals ssub, we'll set bfound equals to true, and so on. But we also have to go and do our bfound equals false here. We can use the same Boolean variable, it's fine, and put our and over here. While bfound is false, we'll do that. If the sub ID equals ssub, then we're going to display the sub name, and then obviously we can go then say after everything's done. And remember, that's the end of going through the data module, using the data module. And if bfound equals false, then we will show a message that we couldn't find supplier. Prod. Okay, that's that, folks. And the very last one, and this is a long video. Okay, we want to display all products supplied by a particular supplier where the user clicks on the supply in the deep, and yeah, we can actually, yeah, person's going to, we're going to get the sub ID, loop through the products and identify all products that are associated with that supplier. Okay, display the list. So there's going to be more than one. So let's have a look at our table. So we're going to choose a supplier and find all the products for that supplier. Okay, so we'll do the same thing. We're going to get a supplier, this is this button. I'm going to get a supplier name from an input box. ssub :string. And I'm not going to use a Boolean flag because we're going to go through the whole table. We're not going to stop. Enter supplier name. And we will go with dbm shops do. As you can see, I'm actually not copying and pasting. I'm just doing it the long way again. And I'm going through tbl supplier dot first. And then while not tbl supplier dot end of file do, begin and end, and tbl supplier dot next over there, and I'll say if tbl supplier square brackets, what is sub name? I'm sure that's it, equals ssub. Then we're going to get our, actually no, this one we are going to stop because we want the sub ID. Why do we want the sub ID from the supplier table? Well, because we want to go and look up the sub ID in TBL products. So sub name with a capital N. So yes, we are going to use a Boolean flag in this loop, but not in the next one. Be found, colon Boolean. I'm sure you must be sick of Boolean flags by now. No, I am. Said be found equals false. And obviously we've got to put it in our while loop. I'm sure you'll know how to do this from now on. Remember, you only do this if we know we're going to stop the loop for only one item that we are looking for. And we have begin and end. We want to stop the loop, we only found one thing. And then we are going to get our SRD, make a variable called SRD and make it equal to TBL suppliers square brackets sub RD. So obviously I'm just going to make sure I'm using the right spelling here. Can you see I've got TBL supplier all completely wrong. TBL suppliers, there it is, done, fixed. Ooh. Okay, so we get our SRD, stop the loop, and now we're going to go through TBL products. TBL products dot first. Wow, not TBL products dot end of file do begin and end. If, oh wait, I forgot about the next. Guys, you must put your TBL products like next here. TBL products dot next. If you don't put that in, chances are you'll forget to put it in. If TBL products square brackets sub RD equals SRD, where do we get SRD from? There. S sub RD equals SRD, then what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to display it. Hey, already out. We're going to display the product. Dot lines dot add TBL product square brackets the script. See, you get used to the names after a while. So there we have it, and that's it. So we display the products for every single. Oh, of course, yeah. I forgot to declare a Boolean flag, and I don't. Why do I not use a Boolean flag in the second loop? Because we're going through every single row. We're not going to stop. Okay, we're not going to do that either. We're not going to stop. What have I just done? Okay. Let's go to the button click. Button 2. Okay, there it is. It's fine now. Right, so we get SRD from the suppliers table. Oops. From there we get SRD is equal to sub RD from the suppliers table. Then we go to TBL products and look for the corresponding sub RD, which is SRD. We call it SRD. And if it is, then we display the description in the rich edit. That's it. Let's see what our products is. Sub. Oh, I used 2 P's. Let's make it 1. Right. While not TBL supplier dot end the file. Suppliers. For sakes. And another one. Nog een. Button 2. Oops. Now I'm going to enter. Let's see. Nocipo. Nocipo supply name. There we go. Jelly Tots, Candy Floss. Yay. Done and dusted. Now, what if you wanted to delete something, guys? Never did deleting a whole lot of things, and that's very important. So I'm going to do that now. If I delete a supplier, I'm going to have to delete a product as well. And I don't want to delete, but I can delete a product. So if I want to delete a product where the expiry date is a certain date, I'm going to put a button on here, and this is very important for you to understand, so you better be watching this, and I'm going to make sure that you do get to see this, because this is a very important section here. Button 3, delete products that have an expiry date of a certain number. If we go and look at our products, we can delete on the many sides, no problem. Expiry date. Let's say all expiry dates that are from 2018. Any 2018, in the year 2018, we're going to say those are expired, so we can't use them anymore. Anything that has 2018 in it for the year 2018, we want to delete that particular item. So we're going to do the following, and there's going to be many deletions made. We're going to delete a lot, not so, because there's are a lot of them. So we have to obviously use this. We're going to go tbl products.first and while not tbl products.end of file, begin and end. Now the tricky part is, how do we get the 2018? So I'm going to get the year, var s year, colon string. For each row I'm going to go get the year from that date. S year equals copy from tbl products, square brackets, expiry date, I think it's called that, comma 1 4. We're going to copy the first 4 characters because I know that the expiry dates is a date data type here, okay, exp date. But when we deal with it in Delphi, we can actually exp date. We're going to see how we deal with it here. And then we're going to say if s here equals inverted commas 2018, then we're going to say tbl products dot delete. Now you use else. Oops, for some reason it won't go to the next line. Else tbl products dot next, and you have to do this when you are, that was my power came on again. That's why the screen went blank. I hope I'm still recording. Yes, I am. So basically, go to the first row. While we're not at the end, we get our year. We copy our year from the exp date. Actually, we should rather do this. Okay. S date. And we go and get S date first. Equals date to string tbl products expiry date. Let's see. Oh no, edit undo. Expiry date, exp date, copy from s date, starting at 1 and 4 characters. Now let's hope that works. So I'll convert exp date to a string, copying the first 4 characters to get the year, and if the s here is that, I'm going to delete else. I'll go to the next row, and I'm going to show you just now why that is important. I know you must be tired now, but this is actually important. Let's go and click button 3, and you'll see that it will have worked. So you'll see there's no more 2018. We have now deleted all the expiry dates that are in 2018. So yes, it did work. You take the date, convert it to a string, date to string, copy the first 4 characters, and you'll have the year 2018. Why must we use an else? Well, I'll show you what happens. I'm going to go through this table. You can see that's the deleted items. If I want to delete whistle pop, okay, and then I'm going to click delete record. Guess what happens? Look what's after whistle pop, swirly pops, not so. If I delete and I delete the record, swirly pops is now in its place. But it's going to be a problem if I want to delete swirly pops as well. If I go to the next row, if I go to the next row, I'm now rain pops. Let's say I wanted to delete, icy pops and cookies. So I right click on it and press delete. And then I'm going to go to the next row, okay? And the next row is here, it's icy caramel. So therefore, cookies was not deleted when it should have been deleted. And that is why we have to have the else here. Okay? Else, we go to the next row. So we check each one. Else, we'll go to the next row. We delete, else we go to the next row. And that is if you're going to delete more than one thing. So don't forget that. It's very important. Right, and that's enough for now. See you when I do.